Hey guys, what's up? Quick question. Do you guys know that scene from Star Wars A New Hope where like Obi-Wan and Darth Vader like battle or something? Yeah, Lego's never made that into a set. So today I'm gonna build it out of my own Lego pieces. Per the usual of my mock building, I start with a base to build on. And you know me, I love dioramas, and this one's gonna be no exception. And I started with figuring out the proportions for the mock, figuring out how big I want it to be, how small it should be, and thinking about where I want things to be, such as the doorway and the walls, and how much space I want Obi-Wan and Darth Vader to have. So this will be about the size of the mock here, and this will be the doorway. It's not quite attached because there's sets of anti-studs facing anti-studs. I want there to be no studs on this, so that'll be interesting, but the door will actually just rest right in here, and there'll be some tiles and stuff that go along here, so you won't actually see this pink. Darth Vader and Obi-Wan will be back here, and then we'll have like the cool lights in this section here. But so far it's pretty good size. It's gonna be awesome. The next thing I started to do was finalize the doorway where I wanted the main scene to take place. And I had this idea of changing it from a light gray to dark gray, being a mostly dark gray door, so it kind of pops in the gray. That ended up being a little bit harder than I thought because I didn't have as many pieces and plates in dark gray as I needed. So I had to get creative with what parts I used where and what pieces you can't see, what could switch out and be, highest priority. But it turned out really good at the end of the day. This is now what we have, and honestly, just looking through, I can kind of visualize it. Seeing Darth Vader and Obi-Wan dueling it out. It looks really cool, but we got to fill this gap here, cover up that pink the rest of the way. And the doors aren't, it's not the full door, but they just kind of slide in. I need to find a better way to attach them, but if that's not possible, that's okay. But it's nice and tiled on top, and these are the same level, so that's pretty neat. So we just have to build this ground here and then this back wall, and we'll see what it looks like. Here I began working on the first little ground floor area just before the door, and I realized shortly after starting that I could use whatever pieces I wanted. They just have to be, the base color had to be light bluish gray. But I used a couple of textured pieces that you won't actually see in the finished model to conserve the limited number of gray bricks that I have. Here is a cool technique for y'all that y'all can use in your builds. So you see how we have this piece here. Let me take it off actually. So it has studs on both sides. It kind of looks like a weight from a gym. You can attach it right in there, and it creates. So you see how we have like the anti-stud, the bottom of the bricks here and the bottom of the bricks facing this way. They're facing the same way. You can use these pieces to combine them, and then this way, get it on one-handed. It's kind of hard. There we go. But we got it on there. And the gap, you can see it's a little bit seamless there. And you won't see this because that's where the door will go. The door will go right on top of this. So that is how you can have it like this. There'll be no studs on this thing. Next, I started working on the back wall of this mock. And part of the Star Wars universe, there's these cool lights. They are like vertical, and they look like this. And they look really cool, and they're all over the Death Star where this build takes place. And so I had to build a couple of those, and I used some plates, stacking them like on top of each other, but on like flipping them on the side so it would fit with the mock, and it looks really good. And then I created a way for the whole build to attach together in one seamless hallway. And here is that hallway. Obviously, we still have to fill in with brick here, but you can see the lightsabers I used, the similar technique I showed y'all earlier with these, to get it so they face the same way, or face opposite ways. And it stays together pretty good. It's nice and sturdy. Little bit there you can see, but once it's all put together and once it's in like everything, it'll look great. And I used for the doorway here, I actually made it so it can be removed super easily, slide in and out, so there's no studs attaching it, which I think might be cool for the build. Still working it out. There it goes, mostly. There we go. Yeah, so It's still a work in progress, but it's looking pretty good. Finishing up the build here, I finalized the floor, and the biggest challenge here was figuring out where Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi should stand to position themselves for the battle. However, once I got that taken care of, it was pretty smooth sailing, just adding a couple bricks and plates to make it all fit together and fit in the diorama thing that I built first. And now all I gotta do is add a few more details, and let's see the finished product. Nice. So this is our finished Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan mock. And to be honest, I'm really surprised Lego has not made this into one of their own dioramas yet. It's like the original lightsaber duel. It wasn't very cool, but I think that they should have made it a long time ago. Starting with the doors here, which I think is really cool. I designed these doors to look as if they could fit together. If I wanted to make this closed, like the doors, they totally could. But I wanted you to be able to see the fight just like how it is in the movie, because they kind of battle in front of this doorway. And this whole thing can actually be removed, which is kind of cool, just to give you better access to these two, because it is, when you have this placed here, it is kind of narrow on the inside there. And this is a lot of pieces that some people might not have. So I came up with an alternative, which is this bunch of bricks. You just slide that in there. I prefer the doorway, but it works. The Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. This Obi-Wan, I believe, is an older one. I don't actually have the one with the hood, so I had to kind of make it custom. And this just came from the Tandem 4 set. But I absolutely love these lights as well, using sideways building techniques and plates. And on the back, you can kind of see how I was able to do that. And then this as well comes out pretty easily, and you can see the technique. But I love building these dioramas, and they just look really good. So with this removed, you can kind of see the pieces there, and we'll put this back because, like I said, I think it looks way cooler. It's just an iconic scene from Star Wars, and I love looking at it from a down low view. And you could potentially make a slain Obi-Wan Kenobi if you so chose. I don't, because I think this just looks way cooler. Before I end this video here today, guys, I want you to comment a battle from Star Wars you wish Lego would make into a diorama or just a play set or a UCS set, whatever. I want to hear. This one definitely is overdue in my opinion. But thank you guys so much for watching, and hope to see you guys next week.